Hey, I have a second channel. Cube Comp MTDX. Hey everybody, here we have two power supply units. These were both pulled out of a Dell Optiplex 390. And if you have a look, at first glance they may seem like exactly the same power supply unit. I mean, now this one here has a different colored sticker on the fan, but if you look carefully at the cases, you'll see some differences here. So these two power supplies were actually from different OEMs. So let me go ahead and get you a look at the spec labels. Now these are spec'd exactly the same, if I remember right. I mean, you look at the labels, they look almost identical. So you look at the ratings on this one. Total output is 265 watts. Total output on this one's 265 watts. And just a quick look at the amperages there. Let's see, plus 5, 13. 3.3 is 10. 12 volt A is 17. 12 V is 9 amps. Minus 12 is a half of an amp. Plus 5 volt standby. Is actually 4 amps on these. Yeah, these have a pretty peppy 5 volt standby rail. Or on these Dell units they call it plus 5 FP, but actually no, this one says plus 5 SB. But if you look at the two labels, I mean the specs on these two units are, I'd say, the same. But again, made by two different OEMs. This one was made by Chicony Power, which I believe is a spin-off of Hypro. Which these units here, I got a lot of these units here out of these 390s have failed. And we'll take the covers off of these here in a moment. This one here actually works fine. I pulled it out of the system just for this video. I'm not sure if there is a OEM listed. There is a UL number listed right there. Let's say that E131875. The other one says E143709. So definitely different OEMs. We may actually see the OEM on the PCB when I open it up. Otherwise, I'll note it somewhere in the video if I can find it. Cabling on the outputs, say it's about the same. Same coloring. And of course, for some reason, Dell. Oh, I know why. Apparently, what it is the CPU power connection is on one 12 volt rail, and the rest of the 12 volt outputs are on a different 12 volt rail. You get a 24 pin motherboard connection, ATX motherboard connection. You get your ATX 12 volt here, and you get 4 SATA leads, and that's all you get with these. Again, they were spec'd for this machine. So that being said, let's go ahead and pop the covers off of these two and have a look inside of them. Okay, so pop the cover off this one. This one has a conventional cover that lifts off the top. Yeah, see, we got some bulging caps in this one. The other one has a clamshell case. I like the clamshell ones because they're easier to service. They're much easier to. It's much easier to change out caps in units with the clamshell. Because a lot of times you only have to take the PCB out. You just take the clamshell and you got access to the solder side, and you're able to change out capacitors. Alright, so we're going to pull this off here. And it looks like this other unit does not have any failing capacitors. Alright, so I'm going to set these down here on the table and make sure there's no solder loose, because I don't want this unit here to get damaged. I have been doing some soldering work here lately. This is pretty interesting, the layout of it. Alright, so if you look at these two, you can tell there's a noticeable difference in build quality between the two. Now, again, the total outputs on these are 265 watts. We can call them 250 watt supplies if you want to call them that. And you can see like the heat sinks on this one, much more metal there. Heat sinks on this one are like, nah, not the best, but this one, both of these are APFC or active PFC. This one has quite an interesting layout. We'll have to look at that in a sec, but this one has the more typical power supply layout. You got your primary over here. You got your bridge rectifier right down there. You got this choke here as part of the APFC circuit. You got a single primary capacitor right there. I can't tell what it's rated for. I think that's 150 microfarad, something like that. And there's your primary heatsink there. I'm not sure what topology this is. Probably one of these transistors could be for the power factor correction. The bridge rectifier has a heatsink on it. We got, of course, our EMI filtering coming in through here. Got lots of chokes and X caps, Y caps. It's a complete, I'd say it's a complete EMI filter. So this unit does have a problem. Now, of course, it does have failed caps, but I don't think the capacitors alone are causing the failure. This unit has 5 volt standby and nothing else. You can try to turn it on and it does absolutely nothing. No twitch from the fan or anything like that. I may have to hook up an oscilloscope to one and see if I get any sort of spike at all out of like the 12 volt output, for example. See if it even tries to turn on. I don't think it even tries to turn on. I believe this little add-on board down there is probably our 5 volt standby. I do see the typical 8-pin dip package IC there. That's typical of the IC controlled 5 volt standby. Also got some capacitors and stuff on there. So over here is your output. So if we look at the label, we can see that, let's see here. Yeah, the 5 volt and 3.3 volts are only rated up to 90 watts. 12 volt A and 12 volt B shall not exceed 240 watts. So this unit, I'm going to say it probably generates all of its power on 12 volts, and it does DC to DC conversion for your plus 5 and plus 3.3. Now, I mean, I could go in there and look up part numbers on these parts here and find data sheets, and that might answer my question on that. But yeah, this unit here, the only thing you get is your plus 5 volt standby. If you try to turn it on, it does nothing else. I did recap one of these that had visibly failing capacitors, and that did nothing. I mean, it obviously, the bad caps were replaced, but the unit still does not power on. I really would hate to scrap these things, because I think it could be something simple that's preventing it from powering on. But spin around here and try to get you to look at the back or the front, if you want to call it that. Some people call this the front. So yeah, like I say, this is not terrible for 250 watts or 265, whatever you want to call it. It's got an ADA fan on there. Now Dell has this thing where it's a power supply self-test. You're supposed to be able to press this button in, and the power supply will do its own little self-test. I think what it does is it will power on for a moment and power back off. And this light will light up to indicate that it's good, if it works. I may plug in another one of those units just to try it, see what it does. But let's go ahead on over and look at this unit here. So again, this power supply uses a clamshell style case, so you can get easy access to the bottom side of the PCB. And the primary side of this unit does have this like shielding on there, which I think is pretty neat. So similar deal on this one. You got your EMI filtering. Now the crazy thing on this unit is the layout is considerably different. So your AC voltage goes in way over here instead of like up here like you have on a lot of power supply units. So your AC power comes all the way over here. You can see how they got this zip tied up real neat. And they've also got a heat shrink around the wires, I guess, to help prevent the zip tie from rubbing through them. So your live and neutral go connected right there. And you got your EMI filtering over here. You got your bridge rectifier right there. Got a little dip capacitor right there. Not exactly sure what this here is. I'm going to say that's part of the APFC. And the funny thing is, you got your primary heatsink there, but your primary cap is actually in the center, right next to the main transformer. That's kind of, I'd say, kind of unique. Maybe we'll see in there. I mean, it's a decently built unit. I'd say better quality than the other one. That bridge there looks to be 6 amps. Their bridge rectifier, that's the, and of course that's what converts your incoming AC voltage to DC. Yeah, since we could pull the cover off around the back of this thing, we can actually get a better look in the back of it. You got your outputs over there. All the good stuff. So yeah, it comes to show just how much different things can be when you go from power supply to power supply, even the same model computer. This is pretty common with OEM systems. So, like for example, HP and Compaq back in the day, you would typically find like one of 3 different OEMs. You would find Best Tech, which was kind of the lower grade unit, and you had High Pro, which was kind of the middle of the road, and you had Light On, which is, I'd say, top of the line. The Light On units were nearly bulletproof, in my opinion. Really decent units. Now A-Machines, they used, of course, Best Tech, and the older units, like the 250-12Es, those were infamous for frying motherboards because they use a 2-transistor 5-volt standby circuit. And when the caps failed, it would cause things to go out of whack, and the power supply would take out the motherboard and take out itself in some cases. But E-Machines also used, on some occasion, Delta power supplies. I did actually find at least a couple of E-Machine systems with Delta units. I'm talking about the 2002 onward era of E-Machine systems, not the older ones. Because I mean, I just did a video not long ago of actually showing you inside of an old enhanced power supply that was from an E-Machine system. But again, there's your look at the bottom of the PCB in this unit. So yeah, the capacitors in this unit look to be, I want to say, caps on. I do see caps on there on the primary. That little one right there, the cap's on. Not sure about the rest of those on the secondary. But I think it's safe to say it'd been nicer if Dell would have used more of these units in the Optiplex 390 instead of more of those, because I got a whole stack of them over there. In order to see, but I got several right there that all have the same problem. They get 5-volt standby, but will not actually turn on at all. So anyways, that's looking inside two different power supplies from the Optiplex 390. There could be more revisions or OEMs of power supply units that Dell use in that model system. Who knows? So anyways, hope y'all enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.
Well everybody, that wraps it up for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please like the video. Also, don't forget to subscribe to Computer Channel, and be sure to tick that bell so you'll get notified when new videos are posted. Also, don't forget, I have a whole lot of other interesting videos here on the channel to check out. And also, in addition, I have a second channel, CubeComp MTDX, where I have all sorts of other videos not exactly related to technology. Links to the channels are available at the end of this video. Again, I thank you for your support and thanks for watching this video.